Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
She presented me at her birthday celebration as the sponsor, then casually pushed the check for a banquet I never agreed to host across the table. I didn't make a scene. I simply paid for what I ate, tipped the server, and walked out. Exactly 48 hours later, the restaurant's general manager rang me because someone using her name had opened a fraud dispute on the remaining balance. I've always said you learn who people really are by watching how they treat those they believe they can use and discard. For 2 solid years, I had been seeing a woman who made me feel like the center of her universe whenever she needed something, and completely invisible the moment she didn't. The worst part? I was too busy playing provider to realize I had also been demoted to hired help. My name is David. I'm 52 and I run a commercial waste hauling operation. It's not pretty work. Garbage trucks, roll-offs, grease traps, and industrial contracts. But it's mine, built from nothing over 20 hard years. It has given me a life I never dreamed of when I was 25 and driving one rusty truck with my name hand-painted on the door. 2 years ago, I met Megan. She was 29, breathtaking, and carried an electric energy that pulled me in like gravity. She worked a few hours a week in marketing, but her true calling was being an Instagram influencer. Endless photos in borrowed luxury, sponsored brunches, and perfectly filtered sunsets. I was proud to bankroll the dream. I paid for her sleek downtown loft. I covered the note on her white Range Rover. I funded the first-class trips that became the backdrop of her grid. I honestly thought I was being a generous partner. In reality, I was just the most reliable investor she had ever found. The divide between our lives was a low hum I kept ignoring. My friends are blue-collar guys I've known since high school, pipe fitters, electricians, other contractors. We drink domestic beer and argue about football. Her circle was a revolving door of wannabe models, content creators, and professional hangers-on who spoke fluent engagement rate and brand collabs. Whenever those worlds collided, her smile would tighten like a wire pulled too hard. The final fracture happened last weekend, her 29th birthday. She announced she wanted to celebrate at the Oak Room, the most exclusive, eye-wateringly expensive steakhouse in the city. Not a quiet dinner for 2. She wanted a full table of 12, a night no one would ever forget. She wasn't wrong. She left every detail to me. I'm actually a regular there for Bucina's dinners. Carlos, the GM, knows me well. I reserved the private alcove, confirmed the head count, and left my card on file the way they require for large parties. Everyone understood the bill was mine. That had always been the arrangement. The night arrived. I put on my best navy suit and the watch I saved for closings. I wanted her to feel proud walking in with me. When I got there, she was already holding court, surrounded by flutes of vintage champagne, glowing under the chandeliers. She looked flawless. For a minute, every doubt melted. She kissed my cheek, thanked me for making this happen, and the performance began. Her friends talked nonstop about Mykonos, new Birkins, and upcoming collabs. I sat quietly, an anthropologist studying a foreign tribe. About 90 minutes in, one of the newer girls, Madison, I think, leaned forward with a glossy smile. Megan, spill. How did you two actually meet? The table fell silent, all eyes swinging to us like spotlights. Megan let out a tinkling laugh, the one she uses for stories. She flicked her wrist in my direction as if swatting away a fly. Oh, Madison, this is David, she said, voice sugary but razor sharp underneath. My sponsor. He funds the whole lifestyle. The table exploded into cruel, delighted laughter. Sponsor, not boyfriend, not partner, not the man who loves her. Sponsor. The word stripped 2 years down to a single ugly transaction. Heat rushed to my face. I waited for the save, the quick, kidding, and the squeeze of my hand under the table that IT never came. She just sipped her champagne and basked in the applause. Something inside me went still and icy. The pain evaporated, replaced by perfect clarity. This wasn't love. It was a subscription plan, and I had just canceled it. I stayed for the rest of the courses, silent, watching them order bottle after bottle while they ignored the quiet man picking up the tab. When the leather folder finally arrived, Megan didn't even glance at it. She pinched it between 2 manicured nails, slid it across the wood like a room service tray, and chirped, "Here you go, babe." That was the curtain call. I opened the folder. $2,038. I looked at her. She was already turning back to her friends. I nodded once, stood, and told the table I needed the restroom. I walked straight to the host stand instead. Carlos spotted me and came over, all warmth. "David, everything perfect?" "Carlos, I need a favor," I said quietly. "I'm settling my own check right now, my food, my drinks only. The rest of the evening is on Ms. Daniels." His eyes widened for half a second, then professional calm slid back into place. He understood everything in that moment. He printed a separate check, ribeye, 2 bourbons, $178. I signed, left a $200 tip, and told him I was sorry for any mess this caused. He just squeezed my shoulder. "We've got it, Mr. David." I walked out into the night, got in my truck, and drove home. My phone stayed silent for a full 15 minutes. Then the text started. "Where did you go? Are you coming back?" Then, 10 minutes later, all caps, "They brought the bill back, David. What did you do?" Calls, voicemails. I let them all ring out. I poured a whiskey, sat on my couch, and listened to the most peaceful quiet I'd heard in years. Update 1. The next 48 hours were a masterclass in what happens when a spoiled person collides with immovable reality. Saturday night, the messages went from confused to furious. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone," then to desperate begging when no cavalry arrived. I later learned from Carlos exactly how it played out after I left. The server returned with the revised check, $1, $860 remaining. Megan laughed, actually laughed, certain it was a prank. When the server explained I had paid only my share and departed, the color drained from her face. Her friends, who had howled at the sponsor joke, suddenly discovered fascinating things on their phones. Not one offered to split the damage. She ended up putting the balance on her personal card, already close to its limit. The invincible birthday queen left the palace in debt and defeated. She didn't come home that night. I didn't expect her to. Sunday morning I got busy. I pulled every statement, every joint account, every supplementary card. The picture was uglier than I imagined. The card I had given her for emergencies was littered with thousands in boutique clothing, filler appointments, and Uber Black rides to photo shoots. I found her saved influencer pitch deck too. Under long-term funding strategy was a bullet point labeled secure ongoing private investor, D. I was a line item. That afternoon I packed every single thing that belonged to her. Every handbag, every pair of heels, every ring light and backdrop stand. I used brand new boxes, labeled them neatly, and stacked them in the guest room like evidence. I called the cell carrier and removed her line. I called insurance and removed her from the Rover policy. I was excising a parasite, one phone call at a time. She showed up Monday around 3, eyes puffy, hair in a messy bun, fury radiating. I had the chain on the door. "We need to talk," she demanded, trying to shoulder her way in. "Happy to talk," I said through the crack. "But first clarify, are we speaking as a couple or as an influencer and the sponsor she no longer has? I just want to use the correct title." She went pale. "It was a joke, David. You're blowing this up. Was it a joke when you ran $5,000 through my company card last month on clothes? Was it a joke when you wrote me into your business plan as permanent funding? Was the $2,000 dinner a joke too?" She had no answer. She didn't know I'd seen the receipts. "Your belongings are boxed in the guest room," I continued. "You have 48 hours to arrange professional movers. After that, everything goes into paid storage billed to you. The sponsorship is officially over." I shut the door while she was still stammering. Final update: 4 months have passed since that birthday dinner. The carefully curated life she built on my dime has collapsed under its own weight. The morning after I received the scanned fraud dispute form, complete with her sworn signature claiming the Oak Room charge was unauthorized, my attorney drafted a very short letter. A courier delivered it to whatever couch she was sleeping on that week. Enclosed, the signed fraud declaration, the itemized receipt, Carlos's sworn statement that she and 11 guests consumed the meal, and 2 options written in plain English. Option 1. Sign the enclosed promissory note acknowledging she owed me $7,000. $2,000 I paid the restaurant to keep them whole plus $5,000 she had already stolen via the company card, with a court-enforceable repayment plan. Option 2. Refuse and I would hand the fraud packet to the restaurant and the district attorney while filing civil claims myself. She called me that same afternoon sounding small and terrified. "You can't do this to me." "I'm not doing anything," I replied. "You committed felony credit card fraud the moment you signed that form. I'm simply deciding whether to report it." She signed the note the next day, witnessed by a notary who happened to be the same friend currently letting her crash on the sofa. That friend asked her to leave 2 days later. With no more downtown loft for photo shoots, no more luxury SUV, no more unlimited budget, her follower count flatlined. The friends from the birthday table ghosted the moment the free rides ended. She moved back to her parents' house 2 hours away and took an entry-level cubicle job at an insurance agency to make the monthly payments she now owes me, and apparently her parents, who were livid when they learned the full story. Every 30th of the month, like clockwork, a payment hits my account. It's not large, but it's steady. And every one is a reminder that gravity always wins and my own life has never been calmer. Business is booming. 2 new city contracts signed. I sold the Range Rover she used to pose next to and split the proceeds as Christmas bonuses for my drivers and mechanics. They still can't believe it. I've started seeing someone new. Her name is Sarah. She owns a landscape design firm, gets dirt under her nails, and can talk drainage gradients without missing a beat. We met when I hired her company to redo the grounds at our new headquarters. Last week I took her to the Oak Room, just the 2 of us. Carlos greeted us like family, sent over a bottle of Dom Perignon, and toasted fresh starts. Sarah raised an eyebrow. "You're kind of a big deal here, huh?" I just smiled. "I'm a guy who pays his own way." The check came. We split it 50-50 without discussion. As we left, I noticed a woman at the bar arguing with the bartender over the price of a single martini. Heavy makeup, loud voice, cheap designer knockoff bag. It took me a second to place her, Madison, Queen Bee from the birthday table. Our eyes locked for half a second. recognition, then pure shame flashed across her face before she turned away. I didn't feel victory. I didn't feel anything. She was already a memory from another lifetime. I took Sarah's hand, stepped out into the cool evening, and never looked back. I'm no longer anyone's sponsor. I'm just a man who finally learned to invest in himself.